What's up, everybody, and welcome into another Big Men on Betting video. We are live here. We are talking college hoops. Already, it is time to talk college hoops. College hoops starts tomorrow, Tuesday, November 9th, 24 hours away. And I've been putting out content on Patreon for weeks now. However, we've got games, we've got futures, and we've got a lot to talk about here today. So, over the next, 45 minutes or so, I'm going to break down what I am on this year in college basketball. Futures that I've already bet, conference tournament or conference futures that I've already bet. And I'm going to also take your questions. So if you have a question, you're welcome to leave it in the chat and I will get to you. I wanted to make this video public. I want you to be able to get my information. A lot of people are asking me, what are you going to do for college hoops this year? I've done a lot of not soul searching, but thinking. And look, for me, I've been in this business a long time. A lot of people have been involved with my Patreon over the last couple of months, and we're going to just keep all that stuff there. I do have a daily show I'm going to be putting out that you can find on BetUS, which is a betting bookmaker. We're doing a show there every day. Go over 5 or 6 games or so, but all my content's going to be on Patreon. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. College football has been on fire for me, so I'm going to continue to do that and just really continue to crank out content. And you can find the link to that on the ticker below. But let's get into some of my thoughts on college basketball as a whole. I'm so excited. Obviously, last year, every sport was affected due to the coronavirus. But knock on wood, every sport has been very successful this year. NFL, college football, baseball, the NBA. Everybody has started out on a high note. We look at cancellations. Have you guys heard of any cancellations in college football? I haven't. You heard of any cancellations in the NFL? I haven't. Have you seen any NFL games on Wednesdays like we did last year? I haven't. So college basketball, we're expecting a great season. Now, again, the good thing about college basketball is you have less players to deal with. You have less personnel to deal with. And we should see a normal season in college basketball. So I'm really excited. We missed crowds last year. You look at some of these conferences, the Big Ten, the SEC, even some of the smaller conferences, the WCC. I mean, how great is a game between BYU and St. Mary's, right? Moraga or Provo, or even up at Spokane when Gonzaga has a team at the Kennel. I think the Kennel is the best atmosphere in the country. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. How about VCU, little VCU Richmond? How good St. Bonaventure VCU? How good St. Bonaventure Richmond going to be this year? It's going to be electric. How good is the Big Ten going to be? West Lafayette, Bloomington, Lansing, Ann Arbor, College Park, Champaign, San Diego State out of Viejas. What a great atmosphere that is. I'm not going to go into all these. We have to have fans. College basketball is integral to having fans. Thank you for watching. If you're here, make sure you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We'll occasionally do some fun content here. I've always had this account, but let's get into it. Futures that I'm on. I've already bet these, okay? And the first one that I have been talking ad nauseum about is Texas. I've been on the bandwagon of this group for a long time, really since the end of last season. Now, I didn't know that they'd go out and get Chris Beard, who I think is the top 2 or 3 coach in the country. To me, the best 3 coach in the country, Mark Few, Tony Bennett, Chris Beard. No particular order. I would say Few 1, Beard 2, Bennett 3. Chris Beard is an absolute maestro. And it's not just X and O on the court. Now, obviously, he's a defensive mastermind. But the culture there, whether it's in Lubbock or Little Rock, or wherever the hell he's been, it's been incredible. You get how quickly this guy's won. You look at the last 4 seasons with Chris Beard at Texas Tech. 18th, 9th, 4th, and 1st in defensive efficiency, according to KenPom. That is elite defensive numbers. That's up to the level of Virginia. And when you look at this roster this year, okay, there is no stronger roster, arguably, in college basketball than this one. I mean, there's just fucking talent up and down this roster. It's really almost unfair. And the fact that you got Beard not only to leave, but to go to Austin is crazy. Look at this roster, okay? You get Trey Mitchell, in my opinion, outside of Coburn, the best big on the transfer market. Coburn ends up staying at Illinois, but Trey Mitchell was right there. Trey Mitchell could have went into the NBA. He's that good. Up at UMass, he was a fucking stat filler there. This guy can run. This guy can shoot jump shots. This guy can command a presence in the paint. This guy can rebound. This guy can do everything. You throw Christian Bishop alongside him. You throw Dylan Disu along beside him. You throw Jace Febris along beside him. That front court is nasty. Let's talk about the guard play. Because, yeah, I know they bring Andrew Jones back. They bring Courtney Ramey back. They bring Devin Askew in. Okay, Devin Askew is your fourth best guard. That's how crazy this team is. The best and most coveted player in the transfer portal was Marcus Carr. And Texas should thank their lucky stars the NIL was passed. Because without that, Carr would have been out. He'd have went to Australia or another country to play for a year. Marcus Carr is one of the best pure scorers in the country. And they haven't had a player like this there in a long time. Oh, also throw in the fact that they got Timmy Allen, who was a 15-a-game point scorer at Utah. Yeah, they still have Brock Cunningham. They still have Avery Benson, who came over from Texas Tech with Beard. This team is stacked. Fucking stacked. I get 25-1 on this team, and I thought that was incredible. I think they're a top 3 team coming into the season. I think it's that simple. This is the best team they've had in Texas since Kevin Durant. And from an all-around standpoint, Kevin Durant was obviously better than any of these players, but this is a fucking team, man. I bet this for 2 units. I was all over it. SJC Capping, how you doing? Jared Rigby, thank you for the kind words. One of the best college basketball minds out there. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Debbie Beltran, but it's still UT. What does that mean? They also haven't had this coach. And you see what he did at Texas Tech, Debbie, right? Now, I know you probably are a rival of some team. I don't have a favorite team, okay? I root for Temple. They're not a big factor, so they don't really garner much attention. But again, when you're a fan base, let's say you're Oklahoma or Oklahoma State or Texas Tech, I know you don't want to see this, but again, you're going to have to deal with it. And Debbie, I don't know where you're a fan of or who you're a fan of, and you're right. Texas is an overrated athletic program. But this team is really fucking good. Really fucking good. Are you buying futures on Texas now or waiting until after they play Gonzaga? No. I bet on Texas a long time ago. These are all futures I've already bet. All I've bet. And I'm not real worried about meshing. I mean, they've had a whole offseason. Chris Beard's terrific with chemistry. I'm not too worried about that. Jeff Hanna, what's happening? Mahai, what's up? Keith, what's up? Michael, Michigan to win the Big Ten. No, they're not on. Speaking of the Big Ten, let me get into another future I bet. Purdue. I bet this at, what do I have, 15-1? 2 units on this as well. I think Purdue wins the Big Ten. And this is another team I fell in love towards the end of the season with. I was betting them a lot last year. A lot. Jaden Ivey is the best guard in this conference, in my opinion. This kid, second year, this kid was a fucking star as a freshman. He's going to be majorly better. He's going to take the next step. And this is a conference that, let's just be honest, the good guards they left. Guys like Dosunmu, they're gone. They're gone. But when you look at bigs in this conference, there is no more better collective of bigs in the country than this conference. Coburn, Dickinson, Trevion Williams. I mean, those 3 are just probably the best in the country. You know, you got Tilly in there too. You got someone North Carolina, what they have. But this conference is stacked with bigs. You look at their backup, Edey. You talk about a crystal clear touch around the rim. 7'4". This guy was awesome off the bench. Guy moves like a 6'9" guy. He's your backup. I got to tell you, Williams didn't play real well towards the end of the season last year. This kid was really good, Edie. Throw in the fact that Eric Hunter is one of the best defenders in the country. This guy can lock down any defender you can throw at him. No one talks enough about Eric Hunter, and they should start because this guy's really fucking good. They opened up the season at Bellarmine. A lot of you know I was a big Bellarmine guy last year. Let's also throw in the fact Stefanovic is back. He didn't shoot the ball real well last year, and that was a talking point, I think, in the Purdue media. He wasn't good enough. He also had COVID at one point. That was a big knock. Look, who didn't have COVID last year? Stefanovic needs to be better. Still shot the ball around 40%, though. If you can get him in the 41, 42, 43 percentile, which is hard, but he could do it, that's really, really helpful. Brandon Newman's back. The Valparaiso guard. Isaiah Thompson's back. Listen, Ivy and Trevion Williams, that's as good as a tandem you could ask for. You have Hunter on the wing. You have a good bench. This team's really good. And Matt Painter, how can you say enough good things about him? I mean, this guy's just a solid coach. And there's a huge sticking point here to a team like Purdue. Now, I know they don't play tournament games in Purdue or any home atmosphere. But going to Purdue is very difficult. Very difficult. One of the toughest places to play you'll find. The Big Ten is going to have a huge, it's going to be huge this year to watch this because, no fans hurt. This team just got to be better on the road. I mean, they just didn't win a lot of games away from home last year or even the year before. But one thing you love about Purdue, take a lot of high percentage shots, always good defensively, always rebound the ball at a high level. This team should be top 5. They are top 5. They're the best team in the Big Ten. I played them 15-1. A couple others in that 10 to 20-1 range. Kentucky. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what about Kentucky? What about them last year? I don't care about last year. This team is going to make one of the bigger 180s. We'll see. Okay, this team was downright hard to watch last year. Their two-point offense was 312th in the country. It wasn't good enough. And what they did was they just took 20 seconds off the clock, running around, and then decided we have to shoot the basketball, right? And generally it was a bad shot. They had no decision makers. They had no scorers. They had no initiators. They had no leaders. It was just B.J. Boston and rest in peace Terrence Clark doing what they could do. Wasn't enough. And everything suffered. But this year, I mean, it's not even close. This team is so much more talented. Severe Wheeler, Shebue, Kellen Grady. I mean, there's talent up and down, and it's so much different type of talent. Shebue can finally be what we know he can be. He couldn't do anything because he was at West Virginia with Culver, and Culver took the minutes. Then he had to worry about maybe Coburn was going to come in and steal all those minutes. But now is his time. This guy could blossom and have a real renaissance in his final couple of years. Kellen Grady, can you say much more about him? By the way, Davidson put Stephen Curry into the NBA. Now, Kellen Grady's not Stephen Curry, but he comes from a machine called Davidson. This guy will score wherever he goes. Severe Wheeler, you desperately needed a real point guard. You pair him with Tate Washington, the freshman. This starting 5 is really good. Real good. Because they have a standard 1, a really high-level 2, one of the top recruits in the country, with a really good shot maker on the wing, and a big down low that really is just aching for the season to start. They're a team I had to play. The pedigree is just too good. They're too deep a team. They're too deep a team to not get involved with. So just to recap, first 3 that I've played, I have Texas 25-1, Purdue 15-1, UK 14-1. Now again, whether you want to tail, it's your call. I'm not putting a gun to your head to tail, but I want people to know what I'm on. Another one I played, Virginia. I played this recently, 40-1. 40-1 on Virginia. Guys, there is no better defensive team in the country over the last 10 plus years than Virginia. And that's why when I look at a team like Virginia, I'm not that worried about them offensively. When you look at the way they run defense, it is a carefully orchestrated ballet. Okay, the pack line defense is a thing of beauty. And for someone that loves defense like I do, it's hard to miss their games. They are so elite when it comes defensively. It's just so fun to watch. And what I love about this team this year is the offense they run, the blocker mover offense, was created by Dick Bennett, Tony's father. And it's hugely imperative that a mover blocker offense has kids that can come off screens and hit jump shots, hit threes, hit tough shots. They have that this year. Jaden Gardner is the best player they've had at Virginia under Tony Bennett, in my opinion. This kid was a top 5 AAC player over the last couple of years at East Carolina. They lost a gem down in Greenville, and they know it. This kid might be one of the best players in the ACC. I really like him a lot. I saw a lot of his games down there. I do a radio call every week with East Carolina, and we raved about him the last couple of years. Kihei Clark, remember just a couple of years ago? Kihei Clark was a young kid. He was a freshman. Couldn't handle it. Remember Carson Edwards that freshman year? He's back, but he's a high-level point guard now. He is a stone typical number 1. Reese Beekman's back. He's had another year under the belt. And one of the best acquisitions for transfers was Armaan Franklin. This guy was at Indiana last year. Okay, and I have raved again. What does that offense need at Virginia to work? Off the mover blocker. It needs shooters. Armaan Franklin last year was 36 for 85 from 3. That's 42.5%. That's really fucking hard. Hello? You're starting to see it here? I don't really know what else to say here, guys, about how this team's going to thrive. Again, they're already good defensively. Since 2012, I think they've only been outside of the top 30 KenPom defensive efficiency, I think once. I mean, that's crazy. That's like unheard of. And like 4 or 5 times they were top 2. I think the most important player to this team, though, is Caden Shedrick. Because we've seen over the last couple of years, one of the big things that they've had is that Jack Salt, Jay Huff type of guy, right? The kid that come in dynamically, rebound the ball, dirty work around the rim, catch lobs, run the floor. 6'11", 231. 6'11", 231. That speed is there. Francisco Cafaro back as well. He could spell Shedrick. 7'1". The kid from Argentina. Cody Statman's back. There's a lot to like about Virginia. They're a play at 40-1 for me. Had to be. There's too much pedigree at Virginia to not play them. Steve Lancello says, Jeff dropping knowledge. Thank you, brother. Thanks for watching. When does the Gamora podcast start? Well, I don't think we'll have one. But you know I love Gamora. I think it's the best show ever made. What's up, Julian? Julian says, Kentucky plays Duke to start. I'm well aware. Thank you. Keith Henschel. Been coaching with Tony's cousin for 4 years. Know all about the Bennetts. I'll die by the pack line defense. Haha. Couldn't agree more. What's my favorite game to watch tomorrow? We'll get into that tomorrow. Couple of sleeper teams. Cinderellas. Long shots. There's all sorts of words for them. St. Bonaventure, 70-1. This price is laughable. Laughable. When we talk about mid-majors, Gonzaga is not a mid-major. If I hear one more fucking person say they're a mid-major, I'm going to jump off my third floor window. They're not a fucking mid-major. Stop saying that. Gonzaga's in the Final Four every season. They're number one seed for like a decade straight. They're not a mid-major. They're a blue blood. The best mid-major team in the country is St. Bonaventure. And every year, I tell you folks, you have to bet on teams like this. They have every reason to believe they can get to the Final Four. And we've seen them do it. George Mason, Loyola. We've seen it happen before. 70-1 is way too high on Bonnie. They're a top 20 team coming into the season. Here's what you have to do when you look at college basketball futures. You have to ask yourself, number one, can this team make the NCAA tournament? 1,000%. Not only can they make the NCAA tournament, but they'll likely get in as the A10 tournament champion, but they will get in at an at-large. So we have two options there. That's a concern sometimes when you bet a 70-1 or higher team, okay? But when we look at St. Bonaventure, they're the best mid-major team in the country. They bring everybody back of note. Oshuni's back, who is one of the most important players in the country. Think of Taco Fall, yet a little smaller. You put him in the middle of the zone and say, stand there and put your hands up. His wingspan is over 7 foot. No intelligent individual will ever go into the paint because he'll fucking swat your shot. Kyle Lofton, really underappreciated. Dominic Welch, Quadri Adams, Kaleem Coulibaly, Linton Brown. By the way, Linton Brown, junior college, okay, Florida. This kid tickled the twine. This kid shot like 47% from three in junior college. Now, I know that's junior college, but that's a great kind of player to come off the bench. Holmes is back as well. This team is elite, man. Best mid-major team in the country. Bar none. 70-1, too good a price. Too good a price. Who's the best team in the Conference USA this season? Pretty simple. Louisiana Tech. I really like them. I liked them last year. Defensively, they are fun to watch, man. But they are long and lengthy. They bring back the best player in the conference in Kenneth Lofton. They bring back Kobe Williams and Archibald. Crawford's on the wing. And one of my favorite players in the country last year, Keaston Willis out of Incarnate Word. This kid dropped 20 points a game. I don't think this is a huge move up as far as competition's concerned. I think he's a huge part of what this team's going to do this year because they missed in certain games having that stone cold kid that can come in and score the basketball. Willis is that guy. He can give you 10, 15, 17 points a game. Ryan Savegny, A10 isn't mid-major. Okay, whatever, Ryan. I'm not going to argue with people like you. What is it then, Ryan? What is A10? Is it really this hard to understand? Really? You have a Power 5, Ryan. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. You know what the Power 5 is, Ryan? Every other team outside of that is a mid-major. Now, Ryan, please don't take this as disrespect. Please. But, guys, we have to stop coming in these gambling chats and talking because you're a fan. You don't want to hear me say certain things. It's no disrespect, Ryan. I'm not hurting your feelings, bro. But all due respect, stop. Please don't make your stupidity outshine everybody. What are they then, Ryan? Tell us, please. Go ahead. We'll wait. What are they then? Here he doubles down. Bonnies are not a mid-major. What are they then, Ryan? Let me guess. Let me go to Twitter right now. I guess this guy follows me. I would almost imagine he does. Let me look him up. I'd almost guarantee this guy goes to St. Bonaventure. Almost 100%. At R. Savegny. He's a Rhodey alum. Oh, no surprise. He roots for a team in the A10. He's embarrassed and pissed off that I don't think the A10, which, by the way, I've said is my favorite conference. Ryan, you're starting beefs for no reason here. There's no disrespect for me, cuz I love the A10. I grew up on the A10. But stop, dude. What does it matter anyway? So, Ryan, are you going to tell us that so is the A10 a Power 5 conference? No. Are they a G6 conference? No. What are they then? Oh, I know. Hey, calling me. Mid-major. I don't know what is this guy, he's that pissed off that I think St. Bonaventure is mid-major. They are. Oh, by the way, Ryan, Rhode Island, one of the worst coaches in the country. So I'll double down. That's not something you want to hear either. I know you don't want to hear it. David Cox is one of the worst coaches in the country. Sorry. Fats Russell, he left as well. So I didn't have to do that to you, Ryan, but you asked for it. Okay, more futures. Couple other ones I bet. So I took St. Bonnie 70-1. I got Richmond 150-1. Just too high of a price as well. 4 players back that scored 12 or more points last year. They have 2 6-year players. That's unheard of. That's start, by the way. Nick Sherrod's back as well. Important. Nick Sherrod is a guy they lost last year with an ACL injury, and they need him back. Blake Francis gone. Not a huge big deal, though, to me, because I think they'll make it up with Sherrod being back. Matt Grace is another year older. Grant Golden's back. Jacob Gillard's one of the best defensive players in the country. And Chris Mooney in that offense, just too good. Just too good. They had to be played. They got really unlucky last year as well. COVID issues, injury issues, had all sorts of issues towards the end of the season. I felt bad for Mooney. He's a great guy. And by the way, you know what Mooney told me last year on our interview that we did? He goes, wow, you really know your basketball. That's what he told me. If you heard it on Big Men on Basketball. I also played Nevada 200-1. I like this team a lot as well. We've all seen under Eric Musselman, Nevada make runs. This team's really good as well under Alford. Welcome back, one of the best duos in the country, Cambridge and Sherfield, averaged 35 a game last year. That is a really good guard tandem. Warren Washington's back. Will Baker comes in from Texas, the transfer. And one of the most important players that nobody's going to talk to you about, A.J. Brahma, the kid from Robert Morris. Last year, if A.J. Brahma didn't play, I did not bet Robert Morris. That's how important he was. And they were god-awful without him. This kid could be really fun to watch. Now, again, it's not a guarantee that he's going to go from the NEC to the Mountain West and have success. But if he can, keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on Nevada. This will be a team that I think gets to the tournament. Mountain West is going to have 4 or 5 teams that get in. San Diego State, Nevada, Colorado State, Boise will be in the mix. Utah State. This is a really good conference. I want to talk about one more as well. I want to talk about Brigham Young at 80-1. You'll hear a lot of people tell you this year, and we hear it every year. This is the main way that you can tell someone doesn't know a ton about college basketball. They'll say, Gonzaga, they shouldn't be a 1 seed. They don't play anybody. Well, actually, they do. They play one of the toughest non-conference schedules in America. But this year, this conference is actually pretty damn good. St. Mary's brings every player they had on their roster last year back, and a 20-year coach in Randy Bennett, who doesn't get any love either. They're going to be really solid. That's a tough place to go play as well. But a team I really like, Brigham Young. You look at another coach. I've often said, when you look at basketball, okay, you can only bet on good coaches. Every team I've listed here, there's one common thread between all of them. They're all good coaches. And they all have leaders as coaches. Mark Pope, no different. This guy, Not going to be at BYU that long, I don't think. And I have a little piece of information for you at the end of this breakdown you're going to want to hear. When you look at BYU, okay, welcome back Barcelo, one of the best players in the conference, let alone best players in the country. Brandon Averett's gone, thank God. One of the most maddening players on earth. I'd expect that some of these guys, Richard Harward, Gideon George, Trevin Neal, Gavin Baxter, all these guys, very good role players to go alongside Barcelo. Think of Barcelo as TJ Halls, Jimmer Fredette type of player. Not to the level of those guys, but I think he could be near it. Very good player. They also welcome in a kid, Seneca Knight, played at San Jose State, was a really good player for a bad team, okay? It's just that simple. Went to LSU last year, didn't do anything. And again, one of the other really good additions, Tajon Lucas, was at Milwaukee, decides I'm leaving because I don't want to play alongside the coach's kid who's going to shoot 35 times a game. I'm leaving. Tajon Lucas is a massive upgrade over Averett, who was there last year. This team is really good as well. This is a really good year for mid-majors. Okay, so Ryan, update on Ryan. He's now tripled down. He says, so is Cincy a mid-major? Yeah. Why is this so hard to understand, Ryan? Anyone outside of the Power 5 is a mid-major, Ryan. Why is it so hard to understand? Holy hell, Ryan. It's amazing, man. Are you this dense, Ryan? Whoa. I hate to do this to you, bruv, but why? Why are you arguing with me about whether Bonaventure's a mid-major? I can get fucking fans of St. I can get the PA announcer for St. Bonaventure, and he'll tell you the same thing. In fact, I think it'd be a dumb question to ask. What the hell are they, Ryan? Tell us that. What is St. Bonaventure if they're not a mid-major? Nick Maridi says, Kenley Chandler is going to lead the Vols to an SEC title. I agree. I think they'll be right there. Do I think they win it? No, I don't. I think Kentucky's a little bit better. But I love Tennessee. I will not tell you that I don't like them. I think they'll be right there with Kentucky. You put Vescovi more into a 2 role, which is where he should be. Chandler runs the point. Josiah James, terrific. Fulkerson, terrific. I like that team. Going to be really good defensively. Vez Pons, great defender, but he just couldn't give you anything offensively. John Bechtel says, Duke, Kentucky. Who do you have? We'll have a show tomorrow, John. I've said that before. You can watch tomorrow. Yeah, Keith, he doesn't answer. I don't know. He won't seem to answer. Scott Letty, any chance the U of A make a big dance? Is there a chance? I guess there's a chance, but I don't think. But that's not to say I don't like them. I think they made one of the best hires in the last 5 years in Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd is incredible. He's going to do wonders there. They will be back in the picture in a year or two. By the way, you know all those great recruits Mark Few got? You know who got them for him? Tommy Lloyd. Best assistant coach in the country, and he was at Gonzaga. Now he goes to have his own thing. Very happy for him. Think he's a terrific coach. Think he's going to do great things there. And good for them, because U of A needs to be in the talk again. Sean Miller, a lot of things happen there. But this is the exact guy for the rebuild. So excited for them. Would it be out of the question? No, I don't think it'll happen, though. I think it's a little early for that. What are your shows? Will your show be on Patreon? Guys, listen, I'm going to only say this a couple of times. We will have a show and shows on Patreon every day, okay? And if you go over there, you will get it. I will have one show every day that's on BetUS. It is a YouTube channel, okay? We're not going over every game. We only go over like 5 or 6, and most of them I don't pick, okay? So, again, if you want all my content, patreon.com/BMOC. Okay, guys, again, I don't work for free. I'm sorry. I know you want me to, but I'm not going to. I can't. I have to have a life. I have to make a living. I do a lot of hard work. Okay. And all due respect, if you don't purchase, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. You have to just deal with what I have. Okay. I've been in this business over a decade. I can't sit here and do stuff for free. I've done more free content over the years than anybody. Okay. And quite frankly, I can do well doing content on my own. We have to stop assuming that people on the internet, whether they paint or they do betting content or they talk about the mafia or they talk about languages or they teach people languages or whatever they do. We can't just assume they're going to do their jobs for free. And Brock, I'm not coming at you. You just asked it, so this was a good time to do that. Is Mark Few overrated? No. What? 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 No, he's the best coach in the country, John. What? How's he overrated? Thoughts on Gonzaga future and how excited are you for GU Texas? Yeah, I'm not. I like Gonzaga. Do I love Gonzaga? I don't know. I like them though. Are they the best team in the country to me? I think you have to put them there. I think there's some questions though. GU Texas is going to be incredible. Does Ohio State have a shot at the Big Ten? Yeah, I think they have a shot. Do I think they'll win it? No, I don't. Dwayne Washington would have been nice to have them back. How do we purchase your picks? Well, listen, Scott, read that little ticker on the bottom. That'll help you. And you're not purchasing picks, brother. You're purchasing my content. What you do with the picks, that's up to you. It's not really one of these things where I offer, hey, this is exactly what I'm on in each game. I go over like hundreds of games, give my opinion. I have a couple that I'm on. I'm killing it in college football this year. I hope the same in college basketball. But again, if you're going to come over there and you don't know how betting works and stuff, don't come. Because for me, I'm not one of these people. Like if I lose for a couple days, that happens. It's gambling. Okay, we don't want to deal with people that don't know how betting works. Thanks, Brock. Appreciate you, man. That's very nice of you. Thanks so much. John Bechtel. He's led them to one Final Four. No. What? Okay, first of all, I'm not sure if you just don't have your information correct, John. I mean, John, listen, again, if you want to troll, that's fine. I'm okay with it. But you gotta come with correct information. Okay, that's just not true. Okay, first of all, they went to a title game about 5 years ago, and they were in the title game last year. So what? You don't even have your information correct, John. Believe me, I'm not the guy you want to get into arguments with. Okay, he went in 2017 and in 2021. So I think you should probably get your information correct. No, I'm not kidding you. You said he's led them to one Final Four, and I just gave you fact that they were there in 2017 and 2021. Why are you arguing with me? It's just fact. It's not like, hey, John, the sky's blue. Well, yeah, but here today it's gray. That might be true. But did I just see things, John, that they weren't actually there? Why am I to argue? Am I on another planet today with some of these people? What's going on here? Could someone tell John that he's not right? Because he's not understanding me. Does Jerry Stackhouse make it to the season? Yeah, of course he does. Jerry Stackhouse is what? Only in his third year, I believe. He's going somewhere else. I think if I'm him, I go to the NBA. I think that would be better suited for him. Scottie Pippen Jr. is really good. And weirdly enough, I don't think they're the worst team in the ACC. Would I like UCLA or Oregon out west? I like both teams. UCLA is going to have a lot to prove. And Oregon, I like them a little bit more than I like UCLA, to be quite frank. Okay, guys, before I start wrapping it up, I'll do another 10 minutes or so. I want to talk a little bit about some conference futures I bet. Now, again, when you're betting conference futures, you have to understand before the season, it is for regular season. Okay, regular season. Okay, so these aren't ones that I would go crazy on. Okay, I wouldn't be betting a ton of these. Wait till the season's almost ending and bet on tournament futures. That's the difference. These are teams that I think are consistently better than the opponents. Okay. Bryant is going to win the NEC. Okay. Bet it for 5 units. I bet this for at Barstool Sportsbook. They're one of the only books that have all the conferences. And shout out to that book for having them. That is very clutch. Not a lot of, I've not seen a lot of books put those out over the years. Shout out to Barstool Sportsbook for doing that. Plus 165 on Bryant. I think they're significantly better than anyone else in the NEC. I was the first person I think you'll hear from that touted this team. I've been talking about this team for like a year and a half. Charles Pride, Peter Kiss, Luis Hurtado, Hal Elysius. This team is just way better than anyone else in that conference. Offensively, they're elite. Okay, remember they should have beat Syracuse last year. They had some incredible performances out of conference. Were really good in that tournament. Okay, they're really good. They were missing some things. They needed another big, and they went and got it. Greg Calixte, kid from George Mason, he's going to come in and give them some real help on the block. But Kiss and Charles Pride, really good. Really good. I played this big at Barstool Sports with Bryant to win the NEC, plus 165. I also took New Mexico State at plus 325 to win the WAC conference. Now, I don't think that Grand Canyon is as strong as they were or have been. And when we look at New Mexico State, I think they have probably the best player in the conference in Teddy Allen. Him and Jabari Rice, awesome. Donnie Tillman, who's at UNLV, he's better than WAC competition. Johnny McCants gave them 10 a game last year. They also bring in Mike Peake, a kid from Jacksonville State. He was a help last year off the bench, 11 points a game and 5 boards. And they bring in a kid, Vershawn Cotton, do-it-all guard from LAU Brooklyn. I like this team a lot. Okay, they had a lot of issues last year because of the COVID pauses and things like that. But this team's really good, really good. Remember a couple of years ago, they have owned the WAC. It's going to be a little different this year. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I like New Mexico State. I played them as well to win the WAC. And that's all the ones I have, guys. Who are the worst Power 5 teams? Pitt. Pitt's real bad. Pitt's got real issues coming into the season. Bryant's 180 on Caesars. There you go. Biggest fraud team this year. Duke. Keith says, John just started watching college basketball last year. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. That would make sense. That would make sense. What else do we have? If you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'll wait. I'm late. Thoughts on Duke and their chances at a title? I'm not real high on Duke, just being honest. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't play him. If you like them, you trust them, go for it. Banchero's really good. That front court's really good. What time will I be on Patreon every day? 5 p.m. All right, guys. So let me wrap up. A couple that I'm on. Texas, 25-1. Purdue, 15-1. Kentucky, 14-1. UVA, 40-1. Bonnie, 70-1. Richmond, 150-1. BYU, 80-1. Nevada, 200-1. That's what I played. We'll see how it goes. Again, if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at Jeff Nadu. You can also find me at Big Man on BB. You can also find me on Patreon, patreon.com/BMOC. Did I play Texas to win the Big 12? No. No, I did not. It's regular season. Anything could happen in the regular season. I don't really care much about conference tournaments and the big boy conferences. I just don't. They're all going to make the tournament. That's what really matters. Who do I like as breakout player? I don't know what you mean. Kellen Grady? I think he's a real breakout kid from Kentucky. Jaden Ivey, I think he's breakout. Surely. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You have a good night. Catch you all later.